All right, so we just heard Chris Stirewalt say that the only way Joe Biden gets off that ticket is if he decides he wants to step down, and that will only happen if Democratic Party leaders go and say, elected leaders, leaders of the Senate, leaders in Congress, go to him and say, we will withdraw our support, sir, if you don't step down. Is that really possible? Could that happen? Let's bring in our political panel. We have two Democratic strategists with us tonight. Kurt Bardella is a NewsNation contributor, and Richard Goodstein is a former Clinton advisor. Thank you so much, both of you, for being here. Kurt, you have an op-ed today in the LA Times, and you ask if Biden will put duty to country first. You write, if we accept that the stakes of this election are spectacularly high, it is essential that the Democratic Party put forward the absolute best, most competitive ticket possible. After watching Thursday night's debate, you write, it is abundantly clear that a Biden-led slate is not that. Has anything changed since you wrote that?
No. I mean, again, this isn't about whether or not Joe Biden is a good man or has lived an exemplary career of public service or questioning his commitment to this country, to the betterment of this country and how he has embodied and represented American values. It is about the simple question that every Democrat voter and operative and staffer and person involved in politics should be asking themselves, which is Joe Biden the absolute best candidate to take on Donald Trump? Because I've heard since January 6th, everyone in the Democratic Party tell every voter this is the most important election of our lifetime. Yeah. Democracy is hanging on by a thread. Your right to choose to do whatever you want with your body is on the line. If that is the case, if the stakes are that high and the circumstances are this grave, we have an obligation to run the most absolute best competitive ticket possible. What I saw last night, it's not that.
Richard, do you agree?
No, for a couple reasons. Look, we had two people on stage last night. One had trouble, no mistaking, to find the right words. The other
a lot of trouble, Richard. Let's just call it what it was. It was dismal.
And the other one had a lot of trouble finding words that had any semblance of truth associated with them. And we're seeing actually in some focus groups since last night that oddly, I would say, but I'm glad, independents seem more turned off by Trump's lies than Biden's failures last night. Maybe because they already had his age baked in. Look, last night was an anomaly. We'd seen Biden at the State of the Union. We saw him just today in North Carolina. We saw him in a rally after the debate last night in the State of the Union when he was going off script and engaging with Republicans. He made them look silly. And this is the person, Chris Stirewalt was saying, we don't know what happens behind closed doors. We do. How? He took Kevin McCarthy's lunch money. When they had a debate about the budget, Kevin McCarthy lost his job for it because Republicans complained that Biden took such advantage of him. And to ask anybody in connection with the coalition that is standing up to Putin, who's Trump's lapdog, who's standing up to Putin to take on Ukraine, that's not something that just happens. It's because Biden commands the world stage in a way that Trump never could dream of doing.
But Richard, when you call last night an anomaly, I mean, listen, it's just not true. We've seen many. I mean, the Biden, campaign came out and said all these videos on Fox News are deceptively edited, and they were. But there's still a lot of videos. There's still a lot of evidence that he is a very old man. It wasn't just one night. It's been many instances, and we're talking. This is 2024. He'll be 86 at the end of this term. So the question isn't just, is he too old tonight? Is he too old right now in 2024? The question is always also, is he too old to lead the country for 4 more years? And Kurt's point is a good one. At the same time that Biden is saying this is the most important election in our lifetimes, to be this fragile on a stage is dangerous.
Look, if he was that bad, he wouldn't have done something legislatively that Trump talked about doing for weeks, getting infrastructure done. Trump talked about standing up to China. Biden actually passed a Chips and Science Act that actually moves the needle in terms of the U.S. standing up to China. Look, if the fact is that there were Democrats who were prepared to stand up to try to take Biden out, they would have done so by name by now. The people that Chris Stirewalt talked about taking up Nixon was a crook. Trump's a crook. Maybe there is something that happens on the Republican side, but I think Democrats look at the polls. It's now a coin flip race. And the fact of the matter is, if you poll, as we have, Newsom, Whitmer, Kamala Harris, all of whom I think have a lot going for them, against Trump, and this poll was taken, Biden did better. So for him at this point, I think he's doing this because he's committed to taking on Trump. He has that kind of association with the middle class that he thinks most Democrats don't have. We'll see.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.